good morning on this sunny February morning. I think it's funny when I say when these are recorded, because obviously people could be watching it years from this moment and they're like, oh, it's winter, but we're in the sunshine. But actually it is winter, but we're having a very beautiful sunny day.
Exactly. Beautiful day.
Whereabouts are you, Ellie?
So I am down in Hassocks in West Sussex, on the east-west Sussex border, just in the South Downs, just north of Brighton. So a very lovely area to live. Yeah.
Beautiful. So good morning, Ellie Drake Lee. We'll say your name in full so people know who they're who they're going to be chatting to today. And Ellie is a glass artist, and as you just heard, living just on the edge of the South Downs. So Ellie, could you just introduce yourself to us, please?
Yes, morning, Leslie. So I am Ellie Drake Lee. I am a glass artist. I've got a business called Glass Garden Art, where I do predominantly stained glass panels for the garden, using the traditional method of leaded stained glass, which is joyful. And then I've got lots of other branches that go off as well. So using my cut-offs and things like that. And I also am a special needs teacher as well, part-time. So kind of those two things, balance, keep me in balance. Yeah.
So you've told us already that at the moment you're living in West Sussex on the edge of the South Downs. Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in St Albans in Hertfordshire, which was, nice home counties, which was a lovely place to live with my parents and siblings. So we had really easy access into London, which was fantastic, which we all took advantage of as well growing up as soon as we were old enough and all through our younger years as well. So
so you had a lot of access to London. Did that have quite a big influence on you, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. So we would go up, my dad worked in London, and so my mum would take us up every school holidays to go and look around the museums and the art galleries, go and see what was on. So we were very familiar with that sort of side of London, which was really, great as a child, and definitely kind of set me on, well, just appreciating, the arts and stuff. So from
was your mum arty then?
She was an OT, so she was very, very practical and crafty, and her father as well, so my grandpa, was very creative. He did lots of, they had actually the Royal Guild for painting and decorating, lots of Buckingham Palace and places like that. So he did lots of gilding and plastering and stuff. And then my mum, so I was heavily encouraged to be creative always.
Exciting to have your granddad.
Yes.
He had a royal warrant, did he?
He did. So he had a company called Campbell Smith and Co. He was the Campbell. And sadly that my mum was one of 5 and 4 girls, but the boy didn't want to take it on. So sadly that kind of moved out of the family. Different times, wasn't it? Different times.
Yeah.
So that would have been lovely. I would have loved to have done something like that. But
yes, because gilding is quite a skill.
Yes.
Craft,
so he did he did the coronation coach back in the day and stuff. Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. And you said your mum was an OT. What's that?
Yes, so that's an occupational therapist.
Okay.
Yes. So so and that's all about creative and crafts and using hands and stuff. So we would go into work with her as well, into like the rehab centres, and we're always encouraged to be creative. So
And your siblings, so are they all arty as a result, or have they gone off on other tangents?
They've kind of gone different tangents. All different tangents really. But my sister definitely, I think we're all quite creative, but in our own way, but not maybe in trying to earn a living from it. So more as a kind of hobby, downtime kind of thing.
Because you're definitely, as you said, the balance between your special needs teaching and your art, it's definitely a balance of the two providing you with a livelihood, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. And that's kind of what I'm searching for, and I feel like I've got, I feel very blessed at the moment. that I have kind of taken the leap of faith and dropped my 3rd day teaching from January 2024, which has actually enabled me to do lots more of my glass, which is brilliant. So I'm loving the journey I'm on.
Yeah, we'll come back to that shortly.
Yes,
but
definitely.
just interesting just to know a bit more about your background, because I know when people are watching, they're very interested in the journey of the artist. So when you obviously went to school like most of us, when did you decide you wanted to do art, or you wanted to pursue the special needs teaching? What, how did that all kind of come about?
So the art was always there. So even I was the first year GCSEs, so that's, you can age me from that. And took art, and then took art at A level, and then applied to do an art degree as well. So the art theme has been kind of strong within me always. And then always in my kind of spare time, I've taught myself all sorts of different crafting as well, from macrame and paper making. It just, all sorts of lots of lovely things I like doing. So
so you did the art degree, but you didn't take it up as a career immediately.
No, no. So what did I do? So I did my degree, and then I took a job fell through, so that kind of completely changed the plans. And then I went and got a PGCE as a secondary school arts teacher, which I knew would kind of, give me a profession as well, which would be a good, sensible thing to do, following my parents' advice.
Giving you a way of making money quite quickly.
And always having the stability that actually a public sector job gives you, which has been exactly that. It's been an amazing career, but it's exhausting. And the art, the beat of the actual me wanting to do more art has just got louder and louder as I've got, older and further on with my family life as well.
So I encountered you about, well, not that long ago.
No,
probably only was it in 22 or 23? I can't remember now.
22 did I meet you?
When you were exhibiting at Sussex Prairie Gardens.
That's right, it was lovely.
That's right, 2022. And you had literally just started making and looking to sell at that point.
Yes. So I met you really early in this sort of journey as an artist, actually trying to just live my dream that can I actually earn some money from art, because it's a tricky world. I'd forayed into it a few times, but I'd just resorted to no, I'll just lino cut Christmas cards and that kind of thing.
I'll carry on doing my crafting and I won't dibble my foot in that water. So what changed? What made you think in 2022, no, I can commit?
I think it was accumulative, like these things are. There were lots of things at play. I'd lost both my parents just before COVID. Then COVID had happened. My 2 daughters were that little bit older. So just kind of, you just look at the future, I'd hit 50. So lots of things at play. I just think you kind of take a step back, don't you, and have a little bit of an evaluation and think, where am I and where do I want to go? And life is short. So what do I actually want to do? And I just love glass. So I'd done, I dipped into glass before, and I'd done mosaics for quite a long time. So I just thought so I'd actually done a stained glass evening class and then set up at home to keep doing glass panels that I'd given to friends and family. And then I've got a blacksmith friend, which is very lucky, so I had a long chat with him about, can you build me some sort of frame that I can put a glass panel into? And that literally started the whole thing. It was that sort of collaboration and discussions with him. And then, so I did make some, and friends were happy to buy them from me as well. And so the first exhibition I put on was at one garden in Stanmer in Brighton, which is a beautiful Victorian walled garden. That was part of the Brighton and Hove Festival 2022. So
how did you get invited to that? How did that happen?
Well, I didn't. I emailed them. I was just
Yes.
like, oh, I'm just gonna put myself out there because I have got nothing to lose. So I did just put myself out there and emailed all sorts of places, like Cotswold Sculpture Park, one garden in Brighton, and just said, you know, what's the deal? I make these. Would you be interested in taking any? And I had a super positive response. Yeah.
And that's how you got your pieces into Sussex Prairie Gardens as well.
Yes, exactly that. Yeah.
So you were proactive, you were confident.
Yes, even if underneath I wasn't. I just
Well, none of us are confident all the time, are we?
No, and I think, you know, all those skills come with teaching as well for years and years, having to stand up in front of people, which is not naturally that's not naturally. I'd much rather be hidden behind the scenes. But
as you say, it's a no until you ask. And if it stays a no, you've lost nothing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but if it turns out to be a yes, you get into you got into a couple of really amazing shows.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. Yeah, so I felt blessed, and even more amazing was that I sold.
I was just about to say, did you sell?
And that was what was like the icing on the cake, was that I sold just about everything at one garden that I'd put in, and at the Cotswold Sculpture Park as well. Yeah, so
and Sussex Prairies you sold as well,
Sussex
didn't you?
Prairies I sold as well, which was really brilliant. Yeah.
So that was that really motivating?
Hugely motivating, because until you kind of put yourself out there, you know, I've got no idea if there's a market for the glass garden art panels that I make. You know, I think they're absolutely beautiful and they add an amazing element to any garden. But obviously I'm biased. And I just love the magic of glass. You know, when the sun actually hits the glass, I love that. So to actually have people buy them, strangers buy them, is a real buzz, and it kind of reconfirms what you do believe. So
So how did you price them? How did you come up with your price to begin with?
Tricky.
Because that's been a journey, hasn't it?
Yeah, it is a journey. It is. And I'm literally just embracing the whole thing, because I just went into it and thought, I don't know what this is going to bring, but I am just going to embrace everything. So pricing, really difficult, isn't it? So it was actually good, Leslie, to meet you very early on, because you've been super helpful to have all these conversations with you as well. So the cost of materials is fairly straightforward to work out my costing. It's time then. What did I put on time? So I worked out my teaching salary, actually hour by hour, because there was no point in me doing it if I wasn't going to earn at least what I earn as a teacher. It was a pointless task. And then holding your head up high and saying, actually, this is how much it cost me, because this is how long it's taken me to make. And the frames, you know, the frames are all made by blacksmiths. They're all bespoke steel frames. So I know they really will stand the test of time. And they're all coated as well. So there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that has gone on as well into making them robust. Yeah,
and all your 20-30 years experience of sitting there making things. That's what I think a lot of artists forget when they're pricing their work. They do those calculations, but then they forget to leverage their actual years of experience that gets them to that point. And I think that was part of the conversation we had around your pricing, wasn't it?
Yes, definitely.
And then you growing the confidence to go, no, I'm worth that.
I think that's quite a big step, isn't it? For me it was.
And then to sell them at those new prices that we agreed to continue to sell at those prices was I remember it well. A massive leap of faith, but you did it. And then we went to we showed your work at Hampton Court Garden Festival, didn't we? At those new price levels, and sold it.
And sold as well. So that was really exciting, wasn't it? That was really, really exciting time. So
so that I think it's always good to, you know, kind of be very open when we're talking about this kind of thing, about being brave and also being confident in what you're bringing to the party, and not being not shying away from that. So because everyone goes through it.
Yes.
So you work in this lovely studio.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about your studio.
Yes.
Give us a little kind of, you move
do you
the
want
camera a little bit? Just try and do a little bit of a swivel.
It's a disaster.
Oh.
Well, it's
don't
not a
swivel
disaster.
much then.
I don't know actually what you can see. Hold on, let me just move.
We can see your lovely glass bunting on the shelves.
Okay, so you can see some glass bunting.
Yeah, and we can see
over
one
here,
of your, look at that.
That's a panel that I've just been playing with copper foil within the thing.
So that's lead and copper foiling. We're going to talk a bit about the other work in a minute.
Yeah. And then over here, I've got what have I got on the wall there? Can you see?
You've got the designs.
There's designs up there. And then I'm literally cutting them on the table at the moment.
Wow.
So there's all sorts. I don't know what you can see there.
Yeah, bits of cuts of glass, which is another thing.
So the yellows actually all create. Yeah, that's all kind of being cut.
Yeah.
So it's what else have I got? I've got all my glass up and down there.
Very tidy, Ellie.
Well, I think you have to be quite tidy with glass because it's a bit of a disaster otherwise.
Do you run, so you've started running this year with, so something that we also talked about because you have your teaching experience, you started running workshops. Is that in that space? Do you run them there?
That is in this little space, yes, because everywhere I went, I just heard all the time, do you run workshops? That's what people love doing. And so I, yet again, another brave leap of faith, thought I'm a teacher, that is what I do, and I would love to do that. So yes, so I set up workshops and I can fit 3 people in here, which is really nice. So I just, and I really enjoy that. And it's just such a different experience from my special needs teaching as well. So it just balances it all out.
I remember asking you to do the first workshop and and you were, let's be honest with everyone, terrified.
Yeah, I was, when it was with more people as well. Like, oh my goodness me.
I think, how many did I give you? 6? Was it 6?
Yeah. And I negotiated you down to 6.
Yeah, you did. I was like,
6. I've got 3 soldering irons.
I know, and I was like, it'll be okay. And you did it, and it was brilliant, and everyone was like, when can we book?
Yeah. And from that, in fact, so I've been able, that made me think, actually I can travel, so if there's bigger groups of just 3, so I've done that a couple of times as well, which has been brilliant, and loaded up my car and then traveled to if people have got a suitable place, whether it's a big kitchen table, I've done them at so that's a really nice nice
everybody enjoyed that workshop so much, because I think that, just I mean, I think there's a lot of people offer the workshops in the fused glass. But when you go into the copper foiling and the leading, I think there are less opportunities to learn how to do that.
I think so. I think it is a skill to cut the glass and to solder. So it is a kind of just a little, as a taster session, it's just a really something different to try and everything. And I think, just working with coloured glass is just glorious. So people,
I know, we made, what were they making? There was Christmas, wasn't it? So there were Christmas decorations and everything.
Yes, that's right. They were all making little Christmas trees. That's right.
No, it was lovely. So we alluded just now to the project where all the glass is cut behind you, and this is a project that you were asked to consider back at the end of 2023, wasn't it?
That's right. Yes.
So just talk us through that. That's a charity project, isn't it?
Yes. So I was contacted by Forest Home Hospice down in Poole in Dorset, out of the blue, to say, would I be interested in doing an art installation to help celebrate their 30-year anniversary of being set up. So instantly I was like, oh, that just feels amazing, because both my parents were cared for in a hospice at the end of life as well, and I love glass. So we had this whole ongoing conversation, which they kind of started. Did you see the poppies at the Tower of London? So, which I had seen. So it was kind of like, yes, what are you wanting me to do? So shall I just tell? So what I'm actually in the process of doing at the moment is I am creating 1,000 glass flower heads, which are going to be hung on some metal poles, which I can show you as well, in a stately home garden called Merley House down in Poole in Dorset, from April the 26th for 1 week through to May the 3rd. So so this has been my project for January and February and March, which has been great on the side of everything else.
Yeah, and then we're going to take a selection of those
Yes.
and keep promoting them and
Yes.
put them into the on the Hampton Court stand
Yes.
again this year, so we can keep promoting that charity connection.
Yeah.
So that's coming together nicely, and
yeah,
we're talking about it so positively, but have there been any challenges?
There's been masses of challenges. Masses and masses.
Because it all sounds so lovely, doesn't it? And
I
you're
know,
like, yeah, however, we all know
I know.
the reality.
And the whole the whole like social media as well is so one-dimensional, that isn't it? It's just so one-dimensional. Huge challenges, at least of all trying to work out my time, how long is it actually going to take? And in a way, it's been such a learning curve, because I almost couldn't put the time on it. So I made some, like a 10 samples, so I could get some photos. And the guy sent me 10 poles that he's donating as well, so that I could do that. It's been huge challenges. There's definitely been some sleepless nights. But at that point, when I just thought I can't actually physically do this on my own, what would my mum do? So in fact, I've asked for help and actually put it to my community in the village. So I've actually hosted a couple of craft coffee mornings where I've invited like 10 people around, strangers, and it's been so lovely. They've all helped me copper foil, which is it's been so lovely. I've met so many nice people. I've got 2 next week as well. So they help me with the kind of most straightforward, easy bit, sitting down with a cup of tea and coffee, chatting. It's just been lovely. Everyone's been so positive.
That's kind of, a really interesting bit of the process, isn't it? It's like it is about community.
Yes.
And channeling your mum would be thrilled, wouldn't she?
Yeah, exactly. And obviously there's been lots of moments where I'm just, oh, mum would be proud of, mama, help me.
We have to channel all of that, don't we? Always.
Exactly. The grief journey is a journey as well,
exactly.
like it all. So
like you said.
It's been so I feel really relieved. And then so when I've got a chunk of them all copper foiled, I set up a whole production line in my workshop studio, which is fantastic. And have a proper little production line going with the soldering and then the washing and then all drying. So I'll show.
So if you've got like a little collection of them down there, haven't you?
Yes, I have. I've literally got, they're absolutely everywhere. There's these ones here that have all been washed and dried.
Oh wow.
Beautiful. So waiting to be patinaed so that the silver turns black, because it will.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you do patinaing then? How does that happen?
So I've in fact, you should paint it on with a brush, but I'm finding it much easier with a sponge. I just get much easier coverage with a sponge. So dip it in and then put the sponge around it, and then you polish it off. And
so that project is nearly ready. If people wanted to buy them, how do they do that?
Yes, so you can go via my website. I feel like I'm really on.
However, if you're watching this in 2026, they're probably all sold. You'll just have to go back and contact Ellie via her website.
Exactly. You can do it via my website, which is www.glassgardenart.co.uk, and there is a charity installation section with a view here link button, which takes you through to the buying page at Forest Home Hospice in Poole. Yes,
lovely.
It's really straightforward.
So you mentioned about the environmental impact of glass.
Yes.
How are you dealing with that to make sure that you're being ethical and eco-aware?
Yes, because obviously that is hugely important, isn't it?
Well, you're doing a good project. You don't want it to have a bad impact on the planet.
No, not at all. So I'm very aware with all the sculptures I make and all the materials I use, how so on one hand trying to minimize my waste. So with the big sculpture panels, all the glass cut-offs, then I can use those in the workshops, and also to make little copper foiling gifts, like little beach huts. I'm going to do like little flower stems and things. So virtually no glass waste, which is really good. I've also got a mosaic artist who's coming around to help me copper foil, and she would like to take the last little tiny remnants of glass. So actually there's no glass waste, which is really good.
Brilliant.
And my lead that I use, any cut off lead, so I collect that all up, and then I can take that down to a place in Brighton, and they'll buy it from me and recycle it or melt it back down. So that's good.
Great.
Yeah.
It's thinking those things through, isn't it? Because
yes,
art in itself is very eco, because it's made to last
yes,
a long time. It's not a single use thing.
Yes.
But we are aware, obviously, that there's that, when people paint with oils, and there's the the environmental impact of that, and you, as you say, with the glass and the lead, so that's it's just being thoughtful, isn't it? So coming to the end of this chat, what are your ambitions for the future? You have made such massive progress in that year and a half already. What is your, and you've already gone down to the, when I first met you, I said, what is your, what would success look like? And you said 2 days teaching and the rest of the time working on my art, which you've achieved in 18 months. So what is your next ambition? What's the next kind of benchmarking point?
I'm buzzing with ideas of kind of where I want to, things I'd like to do. So I would like to keep this going for the next couple of years, because then my youngest daughter has done her A-levels and stuff. But I would quite like to maybe branch out one side and get frames in slightly different shapes made with some blacksmiths and things, so that I can make, I've got loads of ideas to kind of extend it that way. Through the kind of the more art side of it, as well as kind of having the workshops, the copper foiling. So loads of branches, really. But
so do you still see going forward that your ambition is to have this balance between a bit of teaching and the fine art?
For now, I think for now, it works for now, because you still have to pay bills, and it's very risky, isn't it, to take if you haven't got that financial support behind you. It's very risky to do that,
because optimally you can only make so many pieces.
And you don't want to overmake. It's a fine line, isn't it? You don't want to overmake because you don't want to end up with lots of them just sitting around not being sold. So it's kind of trying to work out and like where you want to go with it. I think that they'd look really amazing in sort of indoor outdoor eating areas, that kind of place.
The pieces we sold from Hampton Court, the lady actually had an installation they were used as a room divider inside, just on the edge of her end of the room going outside. So, and they looked amazing.
And that's what I think that they do look amazing like that, in planters, with beautiful plants all sticking up, and with some lighting as well in the evenings. So I will try and just put myself out there again when I'm once I've got this big project underway, maybe just ping some emails out there and just put myself out there and just,
some interior designers and some people who do like restaurants and things. I think would be amazing. Because they would look incredible in a restaurant, wouldn't they?
That's what I think, as a dividing space, like 3 panels.
You see glass like that in these big new office blocks, don't you? And in airports and things. And in hospitals, so there's lots of opportunities for you to expand that side of it. So which would be more on a commission basis. So have you done any commissions?
I have only for private clients, at this point.
And how did you feel about doing a commission?
Brilliant. And I've been asked to do commissions that aren't necessarily the glass panels, but they're full garden. So I did a great water feature for a lady that was really different as well, and that felt really nice to do. So so lots of ideas moving forward, really.
All pushing your boundaries.
So
I think I know the answer to this question, but if someone were entering this the fray, as it were, now, what would your key piece of advice be for them?
So I would say, I mean, I'm naturally quite determined, but I also am quite a dreamer as well. So I kind of think those two qualities work quite well together.
Yeah. Dream
Yeah,
big, be
yeah,
ambitious, but be
yeah,
brave. Be
but be
brave.
brave. Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's the thing that I've seen in you, is that when I've said to you, well, we'll do it then. And you've gone, okay.
okay, I will.
And I've said to you, well, what do you want? And you like this, okay, well, what are you going to do then? And
Yeah,
this, okay, well, do it then.
yeah,
And you've never shied back from that.
no,
And that is the, you know, why you've moved forward so quickly.
yeah. And that's what's been so great about meeting you. So like at such that kind of early moment in this journey has been that you've been so, it's like, oh no, mentoring meetings. You know, I'm going to end
I'm
up
going
with
to
a
be
list
accountable.
exactly, I'm going to be held with like a massive list of things to do. But equally, I'll be completely re-inspired and reinvigorated by hearing that the belief in me that I can actually do art as a business, you know, make some, you know, not, I don't want to change the world with glass art, but just to make a bit of a living is amazing. So I'm doing that now.
You've been so brave, Ellie, and every time we've come up against it, well, that's what you should do. You've just done it. And I think it's having the courage and the commitment to yourself.
Yeah.
And that each step has given you a little bit more confidence. And so the next time, like when I said to you, right, we're going to do a recorded interview about the charity project, and you were like, okay. And are we?
Exactly. Are we really?
Yes,
I know.
And
yeah.
so no, I'm very proud of you, because you have embodied what is needed really to be a successful artist, is to be brave. You have to be brave, committed, and authentic. You've stuck to your style, and you've been very authentic, and you've had integrity around that. And every time you make a decision, it's based on that, like you said, you know, oh, I'm faced with, I don't know whether I can do this. Who can I channel as a mentor? Well, I can channel my mum.
Yeah.
You know, what would my mum do?
Yeah, absolutely. And it has felt, I mean, I am just loving the journey I'm on. It feels very personal to me, you know, something that's actually for me as well. It's not just for my family or just for the bills or whatever. It just actually really feels like who I am. This is who I am.
It's an amazing feeling when you get that. I say
Yeah,
it's like riding a horse, isn't it?
yeah.
When you're riding a horse incorrectly, it's really painful and uncomfortable. But when you actually get into your stride,
yes,
it feels so amazing, and you get into flow, and it feels so incredible, and that in itself is motivational. But it, you know, life and art is a journey, and it's ever changing, and we have to remain flexible and adaptable to that journey, don't we? So
definitely.
Thank you so much for being so honest and sharing your journey, your unique journey so far with everyone. I think it will be truly inspirational for people, and that's a gift. So thank you for being so honest, and
well, thanks for helping me on my way.
You're more than welcome. For me, that's my joy. You know, that's my joy, seeing all of you be successful. People often come, you know, when we're doing events, the public will often say to me, oh, are you an artist? And I say, I can make art, but I'm not an artist. And they say, so what do you do? And I said, this is my art. You know, the artists are my art. This is what I present to the world. And so the more happy, it's not about intrinsic financial success all the time. It's about seeing people being fulfilled.
Absolutely. And you getting the buzz that, you know, that we're all holding.
Exactly. And when I see people take those brave steps, it just fills me up, and I'm like, that's amazing. And you know, so much can happen if you can be brave.
Absolutely.
So well done.
Thank you. And we've got an exciting 2024 with all sorts.
We've got Doddington, the biennial at Doddington that you're exhibiting in, so a few other pure artists, and then obviously we've got a Hampton Court again, which is going to be fun. We had such a blast doing it.
It was great. It was great.
And then we know there are some exciting things coming up. We won't reveal just yet.
No, exactly.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Leslie.
And just remind everyone of your website address.
Okay, so it is www.glassgardenart.co.uk.
Brilliant.
And the charity installation's got a drop-down menu there.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah,
and the charity name was again?
It is Forest Home Hospice. So it's raising funds for a hospice, which is an amazing thing as they're not funded. I think people don't realise they're not actually funded. It's all charitable. So
yeah, they have to raise
if you
all
can, would
money.
like a little glass flower to be part of that, yeah. Please do.
Yeah, or you can come to us at Hampton Court.
Yes, or Hampton Court, exactly.
Yeah, we'll still have some then.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Lovely.
I hope you have a lovely, beautiful sunny day, and carry on copper foiling those flowers. You can't stop now.
No, I absolutely can't. I absolutely can't.
You're on a deadline. Thank you so much, Ellie.
Thanks, Leslie. Thank you.